This lesson is on functions. So in this table, we have an example of a function, and I'm going to give you some vocabulary words you're going to see in this unit and throughout the entire course. Your x values are referred to as your domain, and the y values are the range. At any point, you can pause this video, go back and listen to one problem again or multiple problems, and you can pause as much as you needed to write things down. The domain is your x values, the range is your y. Another thing you'll hear is x is your input and y is your output. And one last thing, instead of using y for your output, you can also use function notation, which is f of x, that's how you pronounce that, f of x, or g of x. And you can use any letter in the alphabet, and this is function notation. All right, one thing you need to remember about a function is that each input is related to exactly one output. So each input is related to exactly one output. So here's an example. Given the table below, which value of x will make the relation in the table a function? So answer choice A is 2. So if I put a 2 here, that means 2 goes to 5 and 2 goes to 10. So 2 occurs twice with 2 different outputs. Well, that's not allowed. 2 cannot work. If you put a 3 here, well, then you have 2 3s that go to 2 different outputs. So that's not allowed. If you put 4, there is no other x that is 4. So the answer is C, 4. All right, these next statements are true or false statements. The range, when I see the word range, I'm going to underline it. Range refers to your y values. The range of a function is the set of all its inputs. Is input go with y? That is false. Okay. The graph of y equals x plus 2 is the same as the graph of f of x equals x plus 2. Is this going to be the same graph as this? Yes, that's going to be true, because y and f of x are the same thing, just different ways to write it. And C, 6 is part of the domain. When I see domain, I'm going to put the letter x. And so, is 6 part of the x values? Yes. So this one is true. All right, we have a vertical line test. If a vertical line drawn through a graph passes through more than one point, the graph does not represent a function. So more than one, it's not going to work. Kind of like in that table example we started out with. So on the first one, if you draw a vertical line, remember vertical goes straight up and down, how many points does it pass through? Just one. So this one is yes, it is a function. All right, number 2, if I draw a vertical line and if you draw it anywhere, so I'm going to draw multiple ones, it only passes through one time. So this one is yes, it is a function. All right, this next example, if you draw a vertical line, how many times does it pass through? Twice. So this one is no, it is not a function. And this last one, If I draw the vertical line right here, it only passes through once. But if at any point on the graph it's going to hit it twice, the answer is no. So one thing you can do is lay down your pencil vertically so it hits it once, you keep moving it, oh, it hits it twice right there. So the answer is no. All right, evaluating. Evaluate h of t equals 9t minus 17 for t equals 4. Well, in the parentheses, you have a t, and there's also a t right here. And they tell you that t equals 4. So I'm going to bring down the h. Instead of writing a t, though, I'm going to put 4. So the way you say this is h of 4 equals 9 times 4 minus 17. So wherever I see a t, I'm going to put 4 in parentheses. So 9 times 4 is 36, and then you subtract 17, which gives you 19 as your answer. All right, B, evaluate g of x equals 0.75x minus 1.5 for x equals 8. So this time, x is 8, so I'm going to drop down the g. Instead of writing x, I'm going to write 8 equals 0.75 times 8 minus 1.5. All right, 0.75 times 8. Once again, we'll go over to the side of my paper. 5 times 8 is 40. 7 times 8 is 56. Plus 4 would be 60. All right, I've got 2 decimal places, so I'm going to do 2 decimal places. So that is going to be right here. So this gave me 6.00 minus 1.5. All right, one way to think about this is $6 take away $1.50. $6 take away $1 is $5, and then take away another 50 cents. That puts you at $4.50. C, the function g of x equals 3x plus 4 has the domain -2, -1, 0, 1, 2. Find the range. All right, so my keywords are domain, which is x, and range, which is y. So all of these numbers are going to go in for x, but we're going to do it one at a time. So I'll start with g of -2 equals 3 times -2 plus 4. So wherever I see an x, I'm putting parentheses. All right, 3 times -2 is -6 plus 4. It's going to give me -2. All right, so I've done -2. Now I'm going to do -1. G of -1 equals 3 times -1 plus 4. 3 times -1 is -3, plus 4 is 1. G of 0. I'm just moving down the line here. 3 times 0 plus 4. 3 times 0 is 0, plus 4 is 4. All right, G of 1. 3 times 1, so I'm using this original equation every time, plus 4. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 4 is 7. And then G of 2, 3 times 2 plus 4. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 4 is 10. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 answers. So we're going to put those in brackets. -2, 1, 4, 7, 10. That's your answer. All right, D. The function m of v equals 19.3 v can be used to find the mass in grams of a gold object given its volume v in cubic centimeters. What are m of 1 and m of 4? What do they represent? All right, so let's find m of 1 first. So I'm going to do M parentheses, instead of putting a V, I'm going to put a 1, equals 19.3 times 1. Well, what is 19.3 times 1? It's 19.3. Now, what does that represent? Okay, what letter was in the parentheses? Let's go back and look. It was V. What does V stand for? Volume. And we replaced it with a 1. So when the volume is 1, and let's see what volume was measured in cubic centimeters. So I'll say cc. When the volume is 1 cc, the what? What are we relating volume to? So we have volume, which is V, and what are we relating that to? We're relating it to the mass. So when the volume is 1 cc, the mass is 19.3. That was the answer we got. And what is mass measured in? Is in grams. So 19.3 grams. All right, we also have to do M of 4. M of 4 equals 19.3 times 4. So 19.3 times 4, 3 times 4 is 12, and 9 times 4 is 36, so it'd be 37. Times 4 is 4 plus 3 is 7. And you have to go over 1 decimal point. Please pause the video if you need to and re-watch whatever you need. All right, and so now we have to say what it represents. When the volume is 4 cc's, the mass is what? The mass is 77.2 grams. All right, E, the function f of n equals 10n minus 2 can be used to find the total number of hours Callie has studied after n weeks of school. How many hours did Callie study between week 10 and 13? All right, so the function is important. Also, it's important that n stands for weeks. And it says, how many hours did Callie study between week 10 and 13? Well, 10 is weeks, so that's going to go in for n. And 13 is weeks, so that's going to go in for n. But we're going to do it 2 separate times. So f of 10 equals 10 times 10 minus 2. 10 times 10 is 100, minus 2 is 98. And then f of 13, 10 times 13 minus 2. 130 minus 2 is 128. All right, so we have 2 answers. It says, how many hours did she study between? So she studied this many after 10 weeks and this many after 13 weeks. So if we want to find out how many is in between, we're going to subtract 128 minus 98. So you get 30. 30 is your answer. F, the function c of m equals 3m plus 10 represents the cost to rent m movies a month from an internet video club. Kimberly now has $9. How much more money will she need in order to rent 8 movies this month? All right, M stands for movies. Is 9 the number of movies? No, 9 is how much she has right now. How many movies is she renting? She's renting 8. So we're going to plug 8 in for M. So 3 times 8 plus 10. 3 times 8 is 24, plus 10 gives you 34. So to rent 8 movies is going to cost her $34. Is that the final answer? No. It says, how much more money will she need? Well, it's going to cost her $34. It's going to cost her $34. She has 9. She has 9. So we take away the 9. So she needs $25 more to rent the movies. All right, G, the base pay of a water delivery person can be described as f of x equals 210 plus 2x, where f of x is the total earnings and x is the number of sales she makes. If the total pay is $500, how many sales did she make? Okay, so let's see what else is important here. X is the number of sales. This says if the total pay is $500. Is $500 a number of sales? No, $500 is the total pay. F of x is the total. So here's my question. Do we put 500 in for x, or do we put it in the f of x spot? We put it in the f of x because it's the total, and f of x is the total. So in this spot right here, we're going to put 500 equals 210 plus 2x, and then we're going to solve it. So we're going to subtract 210, and then we're going to divide both sides by 2. So let's do that right here. 2 into 290. 2 goes into 2 once. 2 goes into 9 4 times, and you get 8. Subtract 1. And then 2 goes into 10, 5. So you get 145. All right, you have 2 to do on your own, so go ahead and pause the video and try those, and then hit play when you're done and you want to check your answer. Please pause and try them on your own. All right, so this was your function, and it said x was days, and you have day 12 and 16. They're both days, so you can plug them in for x, but you have to do it one at a time. 5 times 12, sorry, my pen is dying. 5 times 12 minus 4. 5 times 12 is 60, minus 4 is 56. Then you also have to plug in 16. 16 times 5, 30, 80. 80 minus 4 is 76. And it wants to know how many are between, so you have to subtract these, and you're going to get 20. And you're going to make it positive because it's asking for how many minutes, and minutes has to be positive. So 20 is your final answer. Number 2, this was your function. X was songs, and you had $10 and 60 songs, but 60 is what goes in for X because they're both songs. So you put 60 in for X. So 0.1 times 60 plus 7. So 60 times 0.1 is this, and you put your decimal in. So it's 6.0 plus 7, which is just 13. So you really don't need that 0.0, so you get 13. 13 is not your final answer. It says how many more dollars does he need? Well, how many does he have right now? He has 10. It's going to cost him $13 to buy the 60 songs. So he needs how many more? He needs $3.